Donna again from NonnieOs videos, here to help you with some things to do during this quarantine when you're fortunate enough to be with your children. I was listening the other night to Late Talk show, and someone was talking about how, oh my gosh, all the things on Pinterest and all the things they were finding, you had to go out and have, all these amazing items to make these things. Well, today we're going to talk about paper, grab it out of your printer. And it doesn't even have to be markers, just something to write with, something to make marks on the paper with. So come join me at the table, and we're going to talk about things to do. We're going to talk about what to expect when you do it, and then we're going to talk about what your role is once your child does put something down on the paper. So see you in a minute. All right, so we are going to work with young children. We're just going to give them some plain white paper because, y'all, that is the best to use. I know all these coloring books, and I know all the lines that other people have made. We're tempted to give them that. Plain white paper, cheap plain white paper, it doesn't matter. Just give them something that they can just, no matter what their age, as soon as they can hold something in their hand to write with. Plain white paper, that's what they need. And then something appropriate to write with, whether it's your crayons, mine are in a little Ziploc bag, markers, pencils, colored pencils, whatever it is. That's all they need. And they can entertain themselves appropriately, no matter what their age, for hours on end. And having it where they can access it without having to ask you for it constantly is wonderful. Again, if you want to put scissors in there, I've already done a video about scissors. It's your choice. It's up to you. If you feel like they can handle it, go for it. Excellent decision if you can so choose to do that. But let me tell you what to expect out of young children when they start doing it, okay? Number one thing, you got two children sitting here. You got a 2-3-year-old, you got a 5-7-year-old, and the 2-3-year-old's going to take and they're going to, do this kind of stuff. And the 5 and 7-year-old's going to go, Mom, she scribble. Scribble, scrabble, or scribbling is actually a stage of writing and a stage of drawing, because remember, writing and drawing at first go together. If you would show children a book, when you're reading words, they think you're reading the picture. So very young children, reading and words, actual text and drawing go together, okay? So we're going to get to that in a little bit you've got to figure that out. Is it writing to them or is it drawing to them? But scribbling is a first stage of writing and drawing, and understand it is a stage. There's actually 20 distinct stages of scribbling that children go through. So again, don't call too much attention to it. Don't fuss at the one who said she's scrabbling, and sure, don't fuss at the one scrabbling, because just like you wouldn't fuss at a child going baba or dada, you don't fuss at them for scrabbling if that's what they're doing, and that's the stage of writing they're in. All right, so allow that to happen. Give them lots of practice. The more practice they have, the better their coordination will be, and you'll see them advancing through the stage of the scrabble. But there's one thing I do want you to be aware of too that drives parents crazy. A very young child is also, especially markers, they're going to take markers and they're going to do this. And your marker is going to be demolished. Or sister's marker is going to be demolished. And guys, it's normal. Your child's not being bad, they're not being naughty. That again is another stage. They have to make those dots. So if that's something that really bothers you, have them do it with crayons. Have them do it with the very inexpensive marker. These are very inexpensive markers. So just know that that's going to happen and be aware of it, okay? So once you start to see them, again, you're looking at what they're doing. When you start to see some forms, ooh, that green doesn't work very good. Let's see if I can actually find one. That's another great thing about markers. When you start to see some forms actually start to appear, you start knowing that they're getting more advanced in their scrabble. When actual lines come out of the forms, ooh, you can go, wow, look, I'm seeing some lines out of those forms. They're getting on advanced. When they start doing this, you might even start seeing some tadpole people. I don't know if you can see the tadpole people. You know, kids don't make stick people. Adults make stick people. They think that's what kids do. Kids don't do that. They do tadpole people, where, you know, it's like their head is their body. Their arms and their legs come out of the one head. So again, watch that. It's so much fun to watch children then put details into their tadpole people. They give them eyes. I've seen children at this stage, you know, that's when they start giving them fingers. Tadpole people start becoming very detailed. So that is so much fun to watch for. So look for that. And then as they start progressing up, they will start drawing more representational. You'll actually be able to see a house, a rainbow. Now I'm going to tell you something, and please listen to me with this, okay? You're going to be sitting and you're going to be drawing with them. And they're going to be doing this. And you're going to be over here making this beautiful house with the chimney and the rainbow and the trees and the clouds and the birds and the smoke and the little swing set in the yard. And they're going to look over at yours and go, do it for me. Because of course they can see they can't do that. So they're going to want you to do it. Resist the temptation. When you sit with a child who is doing this, you do that. Just get some crayons, get your marker, and you just make some shapes, and you just fill in some shapes, and just have fun with that. Don't sit there and do something that you know they can't do, because they're going to look at yours, and they're going to want you to do it for them, and they're not going to be happy with theirs, because they're not dumb. They can see what you're doing and what they're doing, and they can't do it. So when you're sitting with a child who cannot draw representationally yet, don't draw representationally. Just sit there and make some shapes, make some colored in spaces. Do some things that might challenge them up a little bit, but you're not making them feel like what they're doing is not okay. All right, so a child brings you their paper. They bring you your paper and they go, look what I made. Here's a couple of things to be aware of, okay? You can make or break this situation. First of all, try to avoid labeling it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. Look at you, you did so good. You're so great. Oh my gosh, okay? I can go all into how there's been these amazing studies done that show how praise like that absolutely squashes creativity, okay? Here's what you do instead. Focus on something. I don't know what. Let's just look at this. Wow, look at you, two circles in there inside a big circle. I see a long line outside there. I'm not labeling it. I'm not even assuming those are eyes in there because I don't know that they're eyes. I didn't draw it. But I do know they're circles. So I'm saying something specific. Wow, you made a big circle right there. And the child's looking to go, yeah, I made a big circle right there. See? It's pink. So as you're saying something specific about what they're doing, the coolest thing about that is you're paying attention to it. You're not just going, oh, beautiful, you're so good. They don't even know if you looked at it. Find something specific. Wow, you made 3 blue ovals. Yeah, 3 blue ovals, I did it. They feel so good when you really look at what they're doing and really find something to focus on. And again, avoid asking them constantly, oh, what is that? What did you make? Because remember, a very young child, 3, 4, they're creating on the paper. They may not even have an idea in their head what they're doing before they put it on the paper. It just kind of happens. And when you're constantly asking them, what is it? What is it? What is it? That again squelches that creativity. Just focus on what they've done, say something, and then if they come back and go, yeah, 3 blue, that's their wings. Now, take what they've said and now go for it because you now have gotten them to kind of tell you what they were thinking, all right? So avoid too many questions. Find something to focus on and be specific and try not to constantly label. Even the word beautiful is labeling, okay? Maybe they didn't want it to be beautiful. Maybe they wanted it to be scary. Maybe they wanted it, to be something that wasn't beautiful. And when you label it, it kind of crushes what they did. So, but when you find that specific thing, you don't have to worry so much about what your opinion is. We want it to be what they're doing. So again, just plain paper. Now if you want to do something a little bit different rather than plain paper, try some negative space. Negative space is fun. It can actually be just free-form space, or it can be something recognizable. And just give them the negative space paper. You might want to put it on a differently colored paper if you do that, so that they actually can see the negative space. An older child, what's really cool about negative space then, for an older child, what you may encourage them to do is do rainbows around the negative space. That is amazing eye concentration, where they're literally outlining the negative space, and they're outlining with different colors. I don't know what it is about that, but children love to do that. Now, of course, it needs to be a little older child, 5, 6, 7, but they really love to rainbow around negative space. Now, my younger child would find that very hard. They can still do negative space. You just wouldn't ask them to do something that would be above what they actually can do with their hands and their eye-hand coordination. But that's a fun thing to do. Another thing you can do, which is plain paper, is story starters. My daughter remembers when she was given just stickers and putting a sticker on a piece of paper and then telling a story about the sticker. Remember, if they can't write, you're going to dictate. Whatever words they say, you write exactly what they say, even if it's not proper grammar. And then you read it back constantly. Let them know that what the words they say or what the words you're writing are the words they're saying. Or you can just even do pictures where they're doing story starters from a picture that you find in a magazine or a book that you enjoy. One thing that we do, I've even done with college kids and they love it, we pass around imagination starters, and that's where I take something and I just make something on a piece of paper and I give it to them. And then they take it and take markers and do something creative. Maybe it's something recognizable, maybe it's something not recognizable. But we literally, in a college classroom, had a box of imagination starters, and a lot of times that's how we started class, with some imagination starters, just again to get their creativity going, to loosen them up, and getting them talking to each other too as they pass around their imagination starters. So I hope that you've got some ideas. I hope you know that what you do when they do something can make or break the situation, make it educational, or make it frustrating for the child. So keep these things in mind and grab some plain paper and let your children go to town and have fun. See you next time on NonnieOs videos. Bye.